Hello guys, today we're going to be replacing this ignition coil on my 79 Porsche 928. Here's the new coil. They no longer make this style here, the blue colored coil. They quit making that. So if you buy a new one, this is what you're going to get. There's the part number. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. This shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to go ahead and remove this intake tube to give myself more room and then get started. I'll lift up under here. This is where it's held out on right on the timing belt cover. Go ahead and pull this away and out. Okay, there we go. Set that aside. And now we have more room. Alright, the first step is to remove the bracket here. So this is held on by two 13mm bolts. I'm going to go ahead and loosen these. And that allows me to swing this coil up and out of the way so I can remove the wiring. Just be careful you don't drop any bolts. Okay, now the coil is free. And swing it out. And we can remove this plastic cover. It's a lot easier now to get at. Okay, to remove this plastic cover, get yourself a flathead screwdriver, stick it in here like this, slowly separate, just like that. Same thing with this side. You'll hear it pop, and then you can slowly remove it from the top of the coil. It splits here like this. There. Now that exposes our connections. So now what we can do is pull this spark plug wire straight off. Set that aside, and then we have these two nuts to remove. Alright, these are 8mm. Now pay attention, this is positive and negative, so make sure that they go on the right way when you install the new coil. I'm going to do one at a time here so you don't forget. Be careful not to lose these little nuts. It's a good idea to clean these connections up before you put them on the new coil. And actually the new coil has new nuts, so you don't need to worry about these. So what I'm going to do now is get the new coil and install this one on the positive side, because this is positive. It's marked here positive. I don't know if you could see that very well, but it is positive. So what we're going to do is clean this up real good and install it on the new coil. Alright, this connector is nice and clean. Look how shiny that is. That brass is nice and shiny. So now what we're going to do is take our new coil and remove the nut. And there's actually a little lock washer on this one here, so it's a little different than the OEM one. So I'm going to remove that. Be careful not to lose it. And then take your connector, slide it on the new terminal. And slowly install the lock washer and nut. I'm just going to put that on hand tight and set that off to the side right here like that, and disconnect the negative. And this side does have a lock washer on it. The positive side didn't for some reason. Alright, that's it. I can remove that old coil. And I'm going to get my emery paper and clean this connection up and then install it on the new coil. Okay, this connection is nice and clean. So that's good, ready to install here. I'm going to remove this nut off of this negative terminal. Just be careful not to drop anything. Slide the connection on. And then the lock washer and nut. Okay, so when this goes back in position, that's the way that the connections are going to look. So what I'm going to do is make sure I tighten them up when they're pointing that way. Alright, now for the plug wire. Just like that, once you hear it snap, you know it's seated. And then what we have to do is put the cover back on, but make sure these wires go up in this position here, so they're going to come out on this side just like it was when it was on the vehicle. Just have to finagle them around a little bit till you get it where you need it to be, and then slide it down over top of the coil. It might be slightly challenging, but you got to have patience and you can do it. Alright, so that's the way it needs to look, just like that. I'm not going to snap it into position until I get this physically mounted on the vehicle here, and then I'll squeeze this cover into place. Alright, let's go ahead and line this back up and get it mounted. Good idea to do the top one first because you can kind of see where you're at. Get that started by hand and then get the bottom one on. The bottom one you kind of have to do blind. Alright, I got it started. I managed to use this 3-inch extension here. Put the bolt in the socket and get it started that way. Now I can go ahead and tighten these up. Alright, last thing to do is snap this plastic cover back on. Alright, here we go. That is it. That's what it looks like when it's all done. I hope you guys like the video. Just be careful so you don't drop anything when you're removing and installing this thing. But that's it. It's fairly easy. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you liked it. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.